that we are living in difficult, painful times. And we reached out to the UUA trauma response team this week, not because there's been a threat, but because we wanted to make sure to do what we can to keep our people safe, all of us safe. And so we are asking you, the first #1 best practice that Julie Taylor recommended is that we wear our name badges to everything we go to. So even if you dress up Sunday night for the banquet, wear your name badge, please. No, we don't want to wreck our fancy ensemble looks. And safety is first. And we also are having one entrance and many exits. It's part of best practice to keep us all safe. And we know that some of our people are in more danger than others of us. We want all the people to be safe. So please, please join us in doing what we can to keep us all safe. The second thing I want to say is that I had the honor of meeting Julica Herman de la Fuente about 3 or 4 weeks ago in a Zoom meeting. So of course it was that two-dimensional, what do you really look like as a human kind of experience. And I loved everything she said, and I felt calmer about this evening and how we were going to start. She had a way of talking about it and shaping it that was so rich and so authentic and stretching us. And then a couple weeks later, we were both in Walnut Creek, California together at the Commission on Institutional Change. So I got to see her in 3 dimension, which of course is always better. And what I found was this woman who approached life with such authenticity and vulnerability that it just called to me to do the same. And I can now say, in only a month's time, that Julica Herman de la Fuente is my new friend. And I would like to introduce her and offer her to you tonight.
I said to Annie, please don't do the pedigree thing. Don't do the usual introduction thing. But maybe I have a little bit of regret because that's the setup. Like, oh my gosh, now I'm going to be really authentic and vulnerable and do all the things that I just promised. Ready? Go. Okay. I am really honored to be here. I'm really excited to be here. And I wanted to share with you just a brief introduction of what's happening. Because first I think it was you, Linnea, that reached out to me, the first person, and we started talking about, so you want to do that anti-racism, decentering whiteness thing that you do? And I'm like, yeah, I want to do the decentering whiteness thing that I do. But then I realized part of what I wanted to do was also decenter the idea of a keynote itself. Because a keynote is kind of white, right? Let's just say that Paulo Freire would not approve of a keynote. That is not popular education. That is not, the Brazilian educator that was really committed to liberating the people and to alphabetizing them, right? And he would tell us, start from lived experience and use stories. And so I am a student of Paulo Freire and of the people who do critical pedagogy, and so I'm going to give it my best effort. So we're going to try something different. Usually there would be formal introductions and the board sitting at the front table, and then a little worship experience, and then a keynote, right? No, we're just going to mishmash all of it together. We're just going to do the thing. We're going to do all the things. So we're going to, in a minute, we're going to have a blessing, and we're going to have a little bit of a worship setup, and then I'm going to tell some stories, and then we're going to sing. And then I'm going to tell some more stories, and we're going to sing. I'm going to tell more stories, more singing. Maybe some prayer. We can handle that, right? Excellent. So, I'll say more about this, of course, because it's the whole thing, this decentering whiteness. But what I want to say right now is that one of the ways that we can decenter white supremacy culture is to get rid of the order of service, get rid of the agenda, get rid of the usual way that we do things. And that's risky for all of us. We think we know what's happening, we have a plan, and it's not the same as when you have this like script, right? I also want to acknowledge that we are letting go and trusting this new process at a time that already requires a lot of emotional work and trust. So I want to name that. And I also want to name that, especially what happened last year, to ask you to trust that we're going to do something different is like, wait, what? You're asking what? But yes, I am asking in your trust, and I am asking for you to experiment with what does it feel like to be a little more unknown, because I think it's good practice for all of us. So that's it. That's the intro. That's kind of what we're doing. Let's just do it. Are you in it with me?
Yeah.
Thank you. So let us begin with a blessing. Our colleague, the Reverend Marisol, is going to grace us with a blessing.
Hi and welcome to the great state of Texas. I am a lifelong Tejana, and I was born here in Houston, Texas. So welcome to the city of my birth. And I also want to welcome you to one of the holiest nights of the year for my people. This is the night that all of the people we have lost come back to spend a few hours with us again. This is the night of El Día de los Muertos. So we believe, many of us, even lifelong UUs such as myself, who are filled with other doubts and not superstitious and all this, literally believe in the thinning of the veil that happens tonight between this world and the next. And we build altars, altares, or ofrendas, offerings, and we remember our dead. Last year, I did this and then went to sleep in my home, and for the first time in over a decade, my friend who I lost when I was just 17, who died in a tragic accident when she was 16, came and hung out with me in my dream. And I woke up and looked her mom up after all those years and emailed her, and she remembered me, and so she really did come hang out. So in recognizing this, and also the land that we're standing on, I want to offer a blessing in calling the energies of the four directions. So one of the biggest curses of conquest and colonization is the stripping away of our native tongue, our native foods, our gods, our religion, our rituals, our dances, and one of the blessings of, I'll say blessing in big air quotes, of having survived that experience as a people is the advent of the concept of mestizaje, of understanding ourselves as not less than, not at fault for having lost it, but in a position where we can reclaim together and not feel like we're just playing Indian. So in that spirit, I want you to bear with me as I attempt to pronounce the words in Nahuatl, the ancient tongue of my people that is still spoken in many So if you would like, it's traditional to face the directions as they're called. I'll tell you that I'm north, that's east, that wall is south, and that's west. Sometimes people hold their hands out to receive the blessings of those directions. I will name them in Nahuatl and in English, and I will tell you the attributes of each direction as well. I have here, it's a little synchronicity here, but I have this little lotus thing, some copal resin, which I won't burn, but it's holy and it's an offering, and it actually, the smell of it is, it helps the spirits find their way back. So I'll shake it, and I invite you to find me and take a sniff if you'd like later, each time. So if you would like to, please rise in body and in spirit. We'll start with the east, which is this direction. The east, in Nahuatl, it's Tlahuizlampa. The east is the direction of light, illumination. And the deity is Xipetlotec. The element associated with the east is fire, the color red, the season spring. And it's the direction of male and masculine principles and energies. It's the direction of beginnings, the seeds of creation, new ideas. Now please face that back wall, the south. The south, the Nahuatl name is Huitzlampa. The deity associated is Huitzilopochtli. The element water, the color blue, the season summer. This is the direction of our children, of our youth. It's the direction of renewal, of cleansing, of perseverance, of warriorness. Now the west, please. The west, the Nahuatl name is Cihuatlampa. This is the direction of women or feminine energy. The deity associated is Quetzalcoatl. The element is earth. The color is white. The season is fall and autumn. This is the direction of the female principles and energies, intuitiveness, materialization, mystery, and unknown. And now the north. The north, whose name in Nahuatl is Miglampa. It's the place of rest, of transformation. This is where we face to receive those blessings. The deity associated is Tezcatlipoca. The element is wind, the color black, the season winter. This is the direction of the elders, ancestors, and the spirit world. This is the direction that is guiding us this evening into tomorrow. This is the direction of wisdom, of reflection, and of clear communication. You may be seated. And if you'd like, you can reach down by your chair and touch the carpet. That's often something we do right at the end. Touch the ground that we stand on and center ourselves knowing that we are home. So while you're in my home, Didn't grow up here, but I'm sure they come into the world here. So while you're in my home, welcome and receive all the blessings that you find here together this weekend. I'm so happy to see all of you. Thank you.
I have a story for you all. The story I'm going to tell I encountered in a book called The Truth About Stories, a Native Narrative by Thomas King, and he attributes it to another Native author named Leslie Silko. A long time ago, though no one knows where or when, but it was a time when the world was filled with magic. And there were people who could wield that magic. There were spellcasters and magic workers and magicians and witches and shamans. And every once in a while they would come together and they'd have a contest to see who could be the most terrifying, whose magic was the most powerful. And so you can imagine all kinds of things that they would do. They transformed themselves. They jumped in and out of animal skins. They created massive illusions, both of sight and of scent and of sound. They even brought back people's memories and nightmares. And everyone agreed that each person's magic was equally terrifying, equally powerful. And then a witch stood up, and she began to tell a story. The story was filled with violence and greed, sadness, anguish, selfishness, grief, loneliness. After she was finished with her horrible tale, an uncomfortable silence followed. And then everyone suddenly agreed that that was the most powerful magic. Truly, that was the most terrifying magic they had ever witnessed. And so they begged her, okay, take it back. You can take your magic back now. We don't need it anymore. Take your story back. And the witch said, I'm sorry, but I can't. I can't take the story back. Because that's what makes it so terrifying, so powerful. And so some say that when evil entered the world, this was how it entered, in a story that once told could not be unheard.
Thank you, Erin. So, I need my thing. So every time I do a thing like this, usually there's not so many people in the room. Every time I do a thing around anti-racism, decentering white supremacy culture, I start with what I'm about to do. Can I tell you that it is exciting to be in a room full of educators and that we can be meta? It's just exciting that I can do a thing and then talk about why I did the thing. I'm happy. Okay, so I really love this. I even do it, don't tell Mark Higgs, for beloved conversations, even though it's not part of it. I try to sneak it in because it's really helpful. Check it out. Ta-da! No. Okay. Thank you, Joe, thank you. This is knowledge. Oh, and by the way, I learned this at Landmark Education, the forum. Anyone else drink the Kool-Aid in the room? Hey, we can talk about that later. or not. We made it through. Okay, so, but this is really effective. I really like it. This is knowledge. And this part of knowledge are the things that we know that we know. And then a larger part of knowledge are the things that we know that we don't know. And therefore the rest of knowledge are...
Well, we don't know, we don't know.
You're so good. The things that we don't know that we don't know. And some people like to complicate it and say there's another part that are the things that we don't know that we know, but I think that's too complicated, so we're not doing that. So most of the things, we don't know that we don't know them. And that's tricky. And here, this is the edge of our comfort zone. And this is comfortable, and this is not. And when we do anti-racism work, we need to be over here. That is what this work is. And that is challenging because that brings up feelings for us that we're not necessarily used to having or comfortable engaging. So when I do this with other folks, what I invite people to do, and I'm going to invite you as well, is to go here, or here, or here. Some of the work will be that you will start expanding. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that either. Oh, okay, you know? But what you don't want to do is go here. If you go really far away from what you know and what you're comfortable, you're going to come back here quickly, build a wall, and never come back out. So each one of us needs to find this edge and then test ourselves. And the way that we do that is by how am I feeling? And when you feel uncomfortable, then you say, yes, that's good. I am feeling the edge. But you pay attention to how far you go. Because otherwise, like I said, it's counterproductive. Cool? Cool. We'll come back to this. I'm moving over to my notes. So, that's my intention for tonight, is to share things that I know have worked for me, to actually show you and to do things with you rather than to talk about them from this expert place. Like, I really hope that you don't hear that there is one right way to do things, because I think that's actually what's getting in our way of trying things and doing things, is this anxiety and this desire to get it exactly right, to nail it. Yeah? And I want to offer you not just ideas from what I've learned in the field doing anti-racism work, but also how we can be together during this conference. So like really practical ideas about the next few days and our work in Unitarian Universalism as religious educators. And I want to prime the energy. My hope is that you will leave tonight more ready for the work of the conference, more excited, more willing, more curious than otherwise. We'll see. You'll let me know in a couple of days if that were to come. And the last thing I want to share about that boundary and about the comfort zone is that the reason I do that every time is because how we know ourselves is shaped by the stories that we tell. That's what creates our identities. And when we have those identities, that's how we define our comfort zone and the things of what we know. And so that's why anti-racism work is spiritual work, it's faith formation work, because we actually have to tell new stories about ourselves in the process of doing this work. And that is really challenging to do. So we tell stories about ourselves, we tell stories about others, we tell stories about the we. All of those stories are part of the work that we're engaging in this. So yeah, so that's a thing. I'll come back to it a little bit. And before I talk more about stories and about what you the story that you just set us off with, Erica, thank you. I also want to name that a lot of what I'm doing is grounded in and in response to a document that Tema Okun, am I saying that right? Okun? I don't know. Forgive me that I don't know. And Kenneth Jones wrote that many of you are familiar with. And Chris, I think that you shared this in your closing remarks last year, white supremacy culture, right? And for those of you who are not familiar or who weren't here last year, if you Google white supremacy culture, this PDF is the first thing that comes up, and it's this description of the ways that organizations behave and maintain the status quo, like perfectionism and worshiping time and quantity over quality and worship of the written word and all of these things. And so I'm dancing with that. I'm not going to be directly dancing with that, but that really informs how I'm engaging this work, and I invite you to go there to check that out and to go deeper. And for those of you who know what I'm referencing when I'm referencing it, if I'm being too cryptic, can you like help me unpack it and just say like, Julia, say that thing in a different way, or like help me help you? That would be awesome. So, how we decenter whiteness in religious education, I believe, is by being alert and by noticing how these white supremacy culture characteristics are showing up in our lived experiences, in our congregations and in our communities, and in our stories. So I want to start by talking about the same book that Erica just referenced, Thomas King, The Truth About Stories. The book is actually it's published after Thomas King delivered a series of lectures, the Massey Lectures in 2003. And if you Google that, if you Google Thomas King, The Truth About Stories, you can actually get the audio recordings of the lectures. It is a gift to listen to this man tell these stories and deliver these lectures. I urge you to listen to them. And I wanted to start by sharing in the first lecture, he has this wonderful thing that he does, and I'm not going to try to do it like he does it because I can't do it justice. You have to go listen to the story, right? But I'm going to tell you about it. He compares two creation stories, a native creation story and Genesis. And the native creation story is a story about a woman called Charm, who through a series of accidents and being too curious, ends up pregnant, falling, landing on the water, being saved by the animals, and creating the world. It's wonderful. It's just the most beautiful creation story, and the way that Thomas King shares this story also represents his love for oral history and oral tradition of his people. I cannot insist enough that you must go listen to the story, my friends. Go listen. Okay. So it's this wonderful story, and then he reads Genesis, which is a beautiful creation story as well. And as he says, the King James Version is beautiful language. But then he does this amazing thing of contrasting the two. And he lifts up what is it that is valuable in each of these stories. And who dominates in these stories? And why? And what is the plot of the story, right? So in Genesis, it's about creation and control and the fall from grace, and it's about the dominion of man over the animals as he names them. And in the native story, it's about this woman fumbling through and trying to figure things out and being helped by the animals. And it's a story about balance and about co-creation. And as he lifts up these two stories, it's like, oh, right. Like you really get it. You really get that how you tell a story and why you tell a story is everything. And it's not just that some stories cannot be taken back. And it's not about, so don't go telling any stories because that's not gonna work, right? That's not the project. The project is to notice why we're telling the story. What story are we telling? What are we lifting up? I was talking with my friend Jordan, and she reminded me that creation stories are stories that are not created at the beginning. They're created in the middle in order to make sense of the beginning, right? So a group of people trying to understand who they are or why they're in exile, like the Hebrew people, might then create a story about how it all began. But they're already over there. The story is not at the beginning when it's actually happening. And similarly, all of our creation stories are about sense-making, that generative thinking, that understanding of why, how did we end up here? Why are we who we are? What do we value? And I think that's important. I think it's important to remember why we need creation stories and what we're doing with them. So I want to apply that to religious education. And I want to suggest that maybe one creation story about religious education could be the story of how religious education came to be. And I don't know this story very well, but it doesn't matter because I don't have time to go into it very deeply. What I just want to name is that once upon a time, our Christian forebears decided that the children should go to Sunday school to be indoctrinated and trained into how to be good, faithful people. And when they were ready, then they would get to come back to the sanctuary and join in the serious business of actual worship. Now wait, does that sound familiar? So we have that legacy, right? And there's race in that, and there's gender in that, because who were the ministers back then? The white, straight, cisgender, temporarily able-bodied men. And it was set up to function that way for a reason. I think that narrative and the hierarchy that was established is still alive. And I think that that's real in part because most of you who are religious educators I see some ministers here too, I see you, but most of you who are religious educators are in fact supervised by your ministry. And they make more money. That's real. Like there is a hierarchy, there is a structure. This story has continued. And there are many ways in which that hierarchy is sometimes defended, is sometimes reestablished, and I am happy to say sometimes also challenged. There are groups of people who are establishing, who are really exploring what does it mean to co-minister. Really? Yeah. And it cannot happen enough. Like more, please. More experiments like that. Because that I think is that's where we need to be heading. So, let me find my notes. Yeah, that's enough. Okay. So there's one story. But here's another story that I want to run for you. I would say, based on my observation in the past couple of years, religious education is where change is happening most rapidly and most effectively in Unitarian religion. So, I don't know who first said this, but I love naming it the spring of our discontent. In 2017, I really don't know who said that first, but I love it, and I say it all the time now. So can we just name that the spring of our discontent started when Miss Asia Hauser challenged Peter Morales at Finding Our Way Home and said, why are all the leaders in
Why are all the regional leads all white?
why are all the regional leads all white? And then Gris Rivera blew the whistle and said, well, it could have been different, but it didn't think shit really started hitting the fan, 3 religious educators said, hey, maybe we should have some teach-ins. Oh wait, it's the same ones. And Kenny Wiley. Thank you. And the group of religious educators who were in this room, stand up. Those of you who helped with the white supremacy teaching. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And not only that, but then there was this conference, and then things started happening that sounded kind of familiar, smelled kind of familiar, and then they got interrupted, and the people were shown the door. What? Who does that? Religious educators. So I just want to name that from where I sit, this is where it's happening. Like, yes, there is that other creation story, but I like this one better. Don't you? I mean, and isn't it also true that children and youth get this stuff like that?
Yes.
When we are anti-century white supremacy culture, when we are working to be anti-oppressive, they're already coming and going, and we're halfway there. So that also is why, because you have to stay on your toes and be with them, right? Like it's happening whether you want it or not. That is fabulous. That is a gift. So I want to name this other creation story too. That maybe we don't know exactly how, but we're doing it anyway. Maybe we don't know the perfect way, and that's good. Because if it was perfect, it'd be white. Or not. So I want to name that anti-racism work is fundamentally about faith formation. It is a spiritual process that requires that we redefine ourselves and that we tell new stories about who we are and why. It's not facts, it's not statistics, that is not how we help people grow and shift. And I also want to name that none of the stories that I just shared with you are new, but I want you all to own them more and to act as if. And not so much to say, thank you so much for your service, thank you for the work you're doing, but to say, I'm in, what else can I do? Give me something to do. Let's figure it out together. Because I still feel, I travel around the country, I do these retreats, and I still feel like a hesitancy and a hunger and a confusion and an anxiety about it. Do you feel that too? I see some nodding. I appreciate you nodding and feeding back to me, because I just want to know what it looks like when we're unleashed. I want to know what happens when we take more risks and make more mistakes rather than fewer, or when we're still sort of trying to nail it or get it right. So, yeah. And I want to charge you with this. Like, I really want you to feel personally responsible. This is our work. This is what we're about. It has never been more clear. I hope I don't have to sell you on it, right? I mean, like, it's clear. So, own your leadership. Tell the creation story that helps you own it. Make it yours, really and truly, and share it with your people in a way that makes it theirs, too. Yeah. And I'm going to pause for a moment to invite the leaders of LREDA to rise. So, officers of LREDA, make yourselves known. the story? Who created the story? Who started it? Who benefits from it? Who told it first? And most importantly, does that story still serve us? Bring that question to your workshops. Does this story still serve us? If it doesn't, what else would we say? How else would we tell this story? And especially for those of us with target identities, those of us who live or have been shoved to the margins, I'm going to invite us to decolonize our own hearts and souls, because we have work to do too. Let's say that. Let's notice where we got into creation stories that were never meant for our existence or liberation. Like, let's see that in ourselves and stop empowering those stories, please. So in order to tell new stories and better stories, we also need to improve our listening. We need to listen more deeply. We need to listen for the things unsaid.